Right now, we are talking with Megan Bronson from Squire and Company, all about things that you need to know about the new PPP loan. Megan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing?
Doing great. I'm grateful that you took the time to join us today virtually. There's some important things that small businesses need to know about this PPP loan that is available right now for application.
Yes, definitely. We have just had more and more changes. It's been kind of a roller coaster of changes throughout COVID. I know the government's really trying to make sure we get as much support to our people as best as possible. It's not gone without hiccups and challenges, and a lot of scrambling has all been a part of the whole experience. But currently, the things to be aware of are that President Biden has issued a 2 week window. It started yesterday, that if you have 20 or less employees, that's a head count 20, not a full-time equivalent 20, which also comes into play later. But the 20 head count, then you are eligible to apply. SBA is only processing the PPP applications that are coming from the 20 or less head count. And so if that is where your business fits, then please go out and apply. If you are over 20 employees and you maybe have already submitted your application, just sit tight. Sometimes it depends on where it was with the SBA and your bank. Some of those are still getting processed if they were to a certain point in the process. Most of them are just getting ignored for about 2 weeks. So just sit tight for a little bit. If you have not applied yet and you're over 20 employees, you're welcome to work with your bank. Some banks have said, no, we're not going to accept any applications. Others are saying, yeah, go ahead and give them to us. We can go ahead and submit to the bank, or the bank can go ahead and submit to the SBA. And then it'll just sit in the queue for the SBA once this 2 week window is up.
For this particular PPP loan, as you mentioned, you need to have 20 employees or less. Are there any other requirements that businesses need to be aware of before they apply?
So with the PPP program as a whole, right now, if you have never received PPP funds, meaning in 2020, you didn't even participate in the program, or maybe you weren't eligible for some reason, they have relaxed some of the standards, as well as said, please come get it now. We have seen a lot of our clients who were hesitant before, but now they see that it's a legitimate program. People are getting forgiven. It's a good opportunity to get some help for your needs that you have. And so if you've never applied, you can apply. You can do that if you're up to 500 head count, and there's no extra requirement besides showing that you've got employees, and or that you as the owner are paying self-employment income, have that tax on your income. And so if you have never had it, go ahead, go get it. It's a powerful thing that can help your business. If you did get the first round of PPP funding in 2020, then now they have a program called Round 2. And what they are asking this time is that you show that you took a 25% or more hit to your top line, to your sales number. And so you do have to show that. You have to show a financial statement to the bank saying, see, my Q2 of 2020 compared to my Q2 of 2019 has been reduced by 25%. And again, that's at the top line. They call it the gross receipts revenue test. They are not looking at your net income. They are not looking for your cost of goods sold, your gross profit, or anything. They just want to see that top line sales. And if you show more than 25% reduction in any calendar quarter of 2020 compared to that same quarter of 2019, then you can apply for the second round of PPP.
Businesses that meet those requirements, they need to apply. What else do they need to do in order to access these funds?
So every bank is a little different, so you can work with your lender to see what their process is. Most of them have an online portal We at Squire have also been helping some of our clients process through our partnership with a big financial tech company called Biz2Credit, and that's something that you can go and apply at. I assume other accounts are like us and they're doing some support for you to help you figure out your calculations, but it's mainly gather your payroll information, make sure you know by employee how much you've been paying them, and then you're gonna have to provide some other documentation as well. But your bank will have an online portal that you go through and answer a bunch of questions and upload a bunch of documents, and then you just get to sit and wait. And right now they're saying the turnaround time could be up to 4 weeks. Part of that is because of this 2-week window of waiting on the small businesses, but there is not much more besides going through your bank to get those funds applied for.
And business owners may be concerned about the tax and repayment implications of this loan. Tell me a little more about those.
Right. So if you can show that you spent all of the funding on payroll, there's also other allowed costs. For about 40% of the loan, you can spend it on your some of your operating supplies and software and your mortgage or your lease payments that you're making. And so there are some allowed other expenses, but you have 24 weeks to spend. What you're going to get in the PPP loan is only about 10 weeks worth of your payroll, and you have 24 weeks to spend that. And so if you are operating at a even half or normal capacity, then you are going to easily spend it all just on wages. If you're still majorly shut down or have had very lean operations, then you might need to be trying to pull in some of those other costing into what you can say, hey, I spent this money on eligible expenses, so I'm going to apply for forgiveness. And we are seeing that almost all of our clients are receiving forgiveness. It is not a popularity contest on that. It is not who got there first. Everyone has the opportunity to apply to be forgiven. What that triggers, though, is when you're forgiven, that becomes an other income to your business, right? You now receive money that you no longer have to pay back. So there's been a lot of talk about whether that's taxable or not. And so for federal reasons, it is not. The IRS and the SBA have said, no, we're not taxing this money from the federal income tax perspective. So that'll be wonderful. You don't have to worry about the tax on the federal side of things. However, Utah has back in the fall said, well, we think we should tax this, and they have their reasons that a lot of us as accountants and small businesses have been trying to voice against, because it is not characteristic of Utah to go contrary to the federal law there. Usually Utah is more of an enhance the federal law from a taxability standpoint. And this is one of the few instances that we've seen where Utah has decided to tax something that is not taxable at the federal level. So it will be taxable once you achieve forgiveness. So probably you're looking at 2021, most likely. Many people are wondering, if I have my 2020 PPP loan and I got it, it's working on getting forgiven, should I wait to file my 2020 taxes? And right now, if you have not received forgiveness by the end of 2020, then you can go ahead and file your 2020 taxes. You're not going to have any tax consequence yet. It's going to be when that forgiveness is finalized. So when the SBA comes back and the bank says, here, your loan's been forgiven, that's the date when Utah is going to say, okay, now we want you to add that back into your income and we are going to tax it. Utah's a 5% tax. And so that's something you should currently plan on, is having that set aside from a cash flow perspective for when you file your 2021 taxes. There are some who did 2020 though, some who did get forgiven in 2020 that this is going to affect right now. They probably should extend their tax return and wait to see if Utah's going to change its mind I'm not optimistic about that, but time will tell.
It's also important to note that if you have had difficulty with PPP loans in the past, don't let that discourage you from applying again. Thank you so much to Megan Bronson from Squire and Company for joining us today. If you want more information or help with everything that she discussed with these PPP loans, reach out to squire.com. We'll be back with more to include a giveaway right after this.